What is up, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everybody that's tuning into this video, guys? Thank you for clicking on it. We're continuing to break down the pithy sayings of Proverbs, right? Because we want wisdom, we want knowledge, we want instructions, we want to be able to apply it to all areas of our life, not just for our own benefits, to benefit other people on this earth. We want to walk in our ordained, God-given purpose that He has put us on this earth to finish our assignment, guys. And right now, we're on Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20. And where we're looking at today, it says, Wisdom crieth without. She uttered her voice in the streets. Guys, so we just got done talking about the first, it was like Proverbs chapter 1 through 19. We just got done with them verses, right? Solomon is spitting out the game to his son. But this is also be applied to anybody that's willing to have an open ear, to have an open heart, to accepting God's given wisdom. And I love the fact, maybe Solomon was just on his man phase. A lot of time us men, we can start to name things after females, right? Like our car, like, hey, that's Big Bertha or whatever. You got a big truck, that's Big Bertha. That's my old gal right there. These little sayings. And the fact that wisdom is crying out. Wisdom doesn't want you to go through life struggling, difficult moments. Wisdom is knowing what to do in any situation, right? It's right judgment. See, wisdom is not going to move off its emotions. It's not going to move off about like, this is my friend, I need to stick up for my friend. No, lying is lying, right? God called it a sin. Lying is lying. Okay, let's say right now you're committing an affair. All right, wisdom is going to tell you before that situation even happened to get out. I want to use Joseph for an example, right? Because Joseph has some great sound wisdom. Ultimately, let's get back to what is wisdom, right? So wisdom in itself is doing the right thing, knowing what to do in a situation. You can have all the head knowledge you want. I can be picking up, reading a whole bunch of books and having knowledge about how to invest my money, how to save, how to grow my money, how to buy a estate plan, how to do all these great things. But if I don't apply any of that stuff that I learned, then it's not given God given wisdom. Ultimately, God give us wisdom. And He tells us, right? If you lack wisdom, ask of God, get that wisdom that you need. But I want to use Joseph for example. I mean, Joseph is a prime example. He had that wisdom. Ultimately, he had the fear of the Lord in his heart. But when Potiphar's wife that tried to sleep with Joseph, but Joseph had wisdom. He's like, I'm not going to do this sin against, not only Potiphar, but God as well. He's telling her like, no, I'm not doing that. See, Joseph had that wisdom that told him like, get out. Get out. She's trying to get you. She's trying to do this. And he know ultimately without wisdom, that could have went horribly wrong. Of course, he could have got away with it. Who knows? But for how long? Ultimately, vengeance is God. We got to understand that the seeds that we sow in this life, we are going to reap a harvest of that. But have some great wisdom right there is to get out of this situation. See, wisdom is going to tell you this ain't the place. This is not the place you need to be at. You need to get out of here. And that's what Lady Wisdom is doing right here. So when we go back, I love the fact that how it's saying right here, Solomon is dropping it out. Wisdom cry without. She uttered her voice in the streets. She is out looking for you. She's crying out for you. Don't be simple. Don't be foolish in this life. You're having a whole bunch of financial problems because you don't want to apply God's wisdom about investing. You don't want to apply God's wisdom about giving to the poor. You don't want to apply God's wisdom about it's a couple other different proverbs that talk about the one that holds on to more than they need, they will surely come to poverty, right? You're holding on to more money. You don't want to listen to the wisdom that God has given to you. Lady Wisdom is telling you right there. Why in the form of a female? I'm not sure. Maybe that's going to grab young men's attention. Maybe that's going to attract them and pull them closer. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just saying right here, when we look at the wisdom, what God has for us, God don't want us to go through this. Look at that. He gave Solomon wisdom, not only so Solomon can teach it to his son, but also to the whole his nation, and other people went to get that wisdom. See, once you got wisdom, it's up to you to apply it. Absolutely, Spirit is dwelling inside of you, and you need to have that wisdom to help you in different situations. Sometimes you can look at things in life and you're like, I don't know what to do. But I want to go back over there too. I want to look at my relook at some notes. Let's see. So God wants you to have wisdom, right? Lady Wisdom wants you to have wisdom. Wisdom is right judgment. Wisdom knows what to do in any situation. It knows right and use the best means for the best ends. It knows to choose good and stay away from evil. That's what wisdom truly is. And the instruction of wisdom, see, you got to apply it. See, you got the wisdom. Cool. You know what to do in this situation. I know for a fact if I don't handle my bills on time, things are going to start falling down. I'm going to lose the home, the car, whatever. You're not going to be able to take care of your family. If a man don't work, what is that wisdom's telling me? You don't eat. It's that simple. God give you the wisdom in his book. God's giving you wisdom through pastors, through teachers that are giving out sound biblical doctrine, that are giving you the word of God, not sugarcoating nothing. They're giving you that wisdom so you can help yourself in life. And some people, they continue on moving in that long destruction of life. There's some people that would love to say, "Oh, here's this generation curse," right? You know, their great grandfather was a drinker. He got drunk all the time. His father got drunk all the time, and now their father, and now you're in the same thing. You're telling yourself, I would never drink. I'm not going to do none of this stuff. I don't want to live in the same type of steps that they did. But here's the fact, right? So you got the knowledge that they're drunkards, drinkers, whatever, and you're like, I don't want to live a lifestyle like that. But if you don't apply that wisdom, and what is that wisdom, right? Stay away from him. So you got to stay away from it. You got to flee from that, right? Fight the flesh. That's the wisdom that God has given you. But instead, you choose to lean on your own willpower, which we know it ain't going to work. And the joy of the Lord is your strength. You're trying to lean onto yourself. It's not going to work. So now you're in the same footsteps, right? You're drinking, you're doing the same thing. You see that your family have a history of divorce for no reason. People are divorced. You're looking at that. You have knowledge. Okay, they're divorcing constantly. What is the reason? But you're choosing not to apply the wisdom that God has given you, right? You get in, you know, you didn't get sound counsel. You got married, jump right into it, and now you're just like, okay, cool. I'm gonna make sure I'm not gonna get divorced. But you're leaning on to your own strength. You're not trusting the Lord with your whole heart, and lean not to your own understanding. So you lean to your own understanding. You're doing whatever, and now for some reason you just got a divorce right there because you're not applying God's wisdom. See, you get the wisdom, you get the instructions, and what's the other part of my notes? I just had it. Give me 1 second. Understanding, right? So let me go back actually, because I know I had that proverb somewhere. It is. Oh yeah, so Proverbs chapter 1 verse 2, and it tells you to know wisdom, instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. See, and when we already looked at wisdom, is what to do in the right situation. So when we look at understanding, is knowing what to do in that situation. You're not going to be moved by bribes and everything else, right? You discern the situation. You got the wisdom, right? So let's say you are a person right now and you got into a car accident, okay? The wisdom, okay, I know that a man born woman days are they're going to be full of problems and troubles. I believe that's somewhere in Job. I can't really remember. But you, man is born of a woman. You're going to have some problems in his life. You're going to have some trials. You're going to have some tests. You got a car accident, but you had the wisdom to get car insurance to offset, you know, whatever the accident, the coverage of anything that happened, as well as, you know, a vehicle rental, as everything, and all that good stuff, right? So you had the wisdom to do that. That's great. That's the wisdom. You had the knowledge, researched it, you wisdom, you applied it. All right, so let's get back to it. My camera just cut off, but everything, like I was saying before, is so let's use that example. You get in a car accident, so you had wisdom to have car insurance. You know that your life is going to be full of trouble, just as that chapter or that verse that said in Job, you know, a man is born of a woman, his days are full of trouble. So we know that we have car insurance because we got to offset the damage and everything else. Okay, cool. Now you had wisdom, that now you got instructions. Instructions is basically being taught of the wisdom. Either somebody taught you how to get the insurance, most likely your parents and stuff like that. You were younger, they told you about car insurance, and they're one who helped you signed up, and you start to gain some more information and knowledge and instructions. And now you have understanding. See, understanding is having that right discernment in any situation. You know what to do. You know how to handle this, right? So you got the phone. You called the cops and everything else. You got their insurance and all that. Got the police report. You found out the person that didn't have insurance. So you have understanding and discernment that, okay, this needs to be taken care of. We need to do A, B, and C. I got to get my affairs in order. I got to get the rental car. I got to do my claim. I got to have the money. So you have more wisdom that you put money away to do your, what's it called? Your deductible. So pretty much, guys, I'm rambling too much right now, but you have wisdom, instruction, and understanding. See, these all applied together. See, Lady Wisdom is crying out for you because your days shouldn't be, you're going to have some problems in life, absolutely, but a lot of things we can avoid. We can avoid unnecessary death. We can avoid a lot of stuff. You're like, how do you avoid unnecessary death, right? You can't stop. If this is going to happen, this is going to happen. A lot of people are either eating themselves to death. A lot of people are drinking themselves to death. You got to have moderations, guys. Some people out here, instead of being faithful to one woman, they want to sleep around, and the crazy spouse finds out all this crazy stuff, child support, STDs. You can avoid a lot of these different things if you just apply God's wisdom. So guys, that's pretty much the end of this video, guys. Thank you for watching along. I'll see you guys next time. You all stay blessed and have a great one.